Oscar Isaac has been running his mouth about working on episode 9, and I am not complaining.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
There are spoilers in this video for Star Wars Episode 9, so if you're trying to avoid leaks and spoilers, please don't watch this video. So Oscar Isaac has been doing some interviews and podcasts to promote his other projects that he's been working on, but because, of course, he worked on Star Wars, he's going to be asked Star Wars questions. So I want to talk about those interviews and podcasts and the most interesting things he's said about Episode 9 in this video. But first, if you missed my other video on the recent Oscar interviews about Star Wars, here is a quick refresher on that because it does play a little bit into this video. So in a video earlier this week, I covered Oscar talking about Poe's continued relationship with Leia in Episode 9, where he talked about how Leia and Poe do have some scenes together. They do have a relationship that continues in Episode 9, not romantic of course. And this relationship is not only built off of old footage they had already done with scenes together for the first 2 films that just were never used, but also quite possibly might be old footage that is then redubbed over or changed a little bit with CGI. In that interview I covered, he also said that they just didn't want Leia to fade away, but to give her a proper place of honor in Episode 9, which I am hoping means she doesn't die, but we'll have to see what they decide to do with her character. As well, in that video, I talked about how Poe and C-3PO have more scenes together, and that Oscar said this is the end of the Skywalkers. With that out of the way, now let's talk about Oscar Isaac's new interviews where he talked about Episode 9. First, Oscar talked about reading the Episode 9 script, saying, "First time through, I read the whole thing because also you need to know the context of when Poe's getting shown. What's the build-up? When is he not in scenes, and that kind of things. Then I count all the lines. So yeah, I was very psyched when I read it." The fact that he is so psyched after counting how many lines he has is fabulous. Poe is definitely getting more screen time in Episode 9, which honestly, he should. They've been slowly pushing him to become the leader of the Resistance and hopefully maintain Leia's vigilance over watching the galaxy after she's gone. And from leaked images, Poe goes off with Chewie and Finn on at least one mission. Oscar also talked about how he has scenes in a relationship with Leia in Episode 9, as I mentioned earlier, and more scenes with C-3PO. In fact, he finished filming the same day as Anthony Daniels, and supposedly C-3PO has more fun things to do this episode, so I'm super intrigued. But speaking of scenes with others, Oscar talked about filming with Daisy Ridley for Episode 9, which from this release photo we knew at one point was happening, saying, "Well, we were apart obviously in the first one until the end, and in the second we were all on our own adventures. And in this one it's great because we get to have some stuff together." I for one am excited to see Rey and Poe together again, especially on a mission. If we believe other leaks, Finn, Poe, and Rey are going to go on some type of mission together for the Resistance, and Rey is going to go at one point, "This is too dangerous, I'm going in alone," and Poe is going to respond, "No, we're doing this together," or something similar to that. And I hope that's a callback to Poe learning his lesson that the Resistance needs more leaders and just not heroes, and he schools Rey on that. Because character growth. I still find it funny that they had Rey and Poe meet at the end of The Force Awakens in the novel, and then Rian Johnson came in and was like, "Nah," and made it so they meet for the first time at the end of The Last Jedi. That confused me for a hot second until I realized that basically Ryan just retconned that meeting, like Kylo's scar, but at least we got to learn of that before the film came out, so it wasn't as confusing. Anyways, I look forward to more Poe and Rey. I've also really enjoyed their interactions in Poe's comic. I think they can both learn a lot from each other. Hopefully Rey learns a lot more from Poe because he's older and more experienced. But damn do I love the look of awe on Poe's face when she used the Force to lift the rocks. I could actually get behind these two being best buddies. The dynamic with Poe, Finn, and Rey could be absolutely amazing. But anyways, Oscar was also asked if Episode 9 can live up to the expectations that a lot of people have, and that's regardless of whether you like The Last Jedi or not. And he responded, "The experience of reading it definitely did, and the experience of doing it. It's amazing how adaptable we are because the most crazy scenarios and situations can feel routine after a while. Even like, oh, I'm in an X-Wing again. I got to squeeze my ass into the Millennium Falcon chair. They clearly don't make it for ethnic hips. Harrison Ford did not have a butt because this is not working for me. Everything starts to feel like old hat, and the fact towards the end of shooting, when we were saying goodbye, it was very emotional for me. It was such a huge chapter in my life for me, 6 years or whatever it was. It was a lot, and the intensity of it, and they're like the biggest films ever, so like being in the midst of all that was a lot. And to have JJ come back and the energy of the set and the energy of the whole thing was so distinct from the others in a great way. Oh my god, the fact that he said that the Falcon was not made for ethnic hips is fucking hilarious. I love Oscar Isaac. It's also amazing to get more confirmation that Oscar flies the Falcon in episode 9. There were other rumors that Finn, Poe, and Rey were all going to be in the Falcon cockpit at one point, and it appeared that Rey was piloting from those leaks, which is fine, but Poe should be the better pilot. We know Rey is a great pilot and she has the Force and blah blah blah. I want Poe to fly the Falcon. Don't take that away from him, Disney. On his emotional bit during the interview, we know Oscar was emotional because, of course, this photo was put up on the internet. As for the energy being distinct and great on episode 9, that really doesn't say much for what we can expect for this film. Tons of productions have a great time on set, and the film turns out to be absolute garbage. And I'm, in general, always weary of actors talking about their projects because that's what they're paid to do. And if you think Disney isn't psychotic about what is said and not said, well, I'm happy you live in the dark about that. To say they're controlling is a massive understatement. Oh, and I guess tacking this on, he gave us confirmation that Poe will fly an X-Wing this episode, which, no shit. Lastly, I want to cover another interview where he was asked a bit about episode 9 and being around these actors again. So in another interview, he was asked if filming episode 9 was like a reunion, to which he responded, "It absolutely is. To the point that when we were finishing, the thought that, oh my god, that's it. We are not going to be together like this again, ever, was really emotional. I never did a TV show or anything where I had a reoccurring role. And you don't know where the story is going, but you know you are in it. It was a big challenge. But it's also really fun to have 3 films to develop a character over. I think the one thing I can say about Star Wars Episode 9 is that it has been the most fun for me, particularly working with John Boyega, because we have just had so much more to do together, and we just really connected in a great way. It was a really wonderful way to finish it for me because John was the first person I met right when I screen tested. It was just with me and him, so it just felt like a real full circle thing. Some people really hate that I love the bromance between Finn and Poe, but I will not apologize. I lived for their scenes in The Force Awakens. And also the little bit they had together in The Last Jedi. Fight me. I still don't understand Rian Johnson's position that he had to rewrite the Canto Bight scenes to have Finn and Rose instead of Finn and Poe because he thought they were boring together. Those two are amazing together, and the dynamic with Oscar's charm would have made these scenes infinitely better. Plus, Poe's relationship with BB-8
Happy beats here, buddy. Come on.
is also beyond adorable. Don't split up the dream team. But from other leaks and from other things that Oscar has said, we know Poe and Finn have more bromance in the works in episode 9. Did the internet ever come up with a name for them? Pin? Foe? Also, and I'm in no way saying I'd have a problem if Poe is gay. Poe can be gay, he can be a pitcher or a catcher. I really don't care. I just don't want to see Finn and Poe as a romantic couple. I know a lot of people are all about that. Just leave them being good friends. Just like leave Finn and Rey being good friends. Hollywood is always trying to shove romance and shit down our throats. They can just be really good buddies working together. Don't make it weird or complicate it. Not every character needs to deep throat the other. I do want to talk about him saying they would never be together again because according to Kathleen Kennedy, she wanted Poe, Finn, and Rey in future movies and or shows. She made it clear she wasn't ready to be done with these characters after episode 9. I don't know if that has changed with recent issues that have arose in the Star Wars community, but I do find it odd. Maybe instead we'll just see them in comics, books, and animated series like we've been getting? Or maybe we'll get another trilogy 10 years from now and Oscar just isn't aware yet that he is a slave to Disney and their whims. So in essence, we have confirmation that Poe has more scenes with Finn, Rey, C-3PO, and Leia in Episode 9. Poe probably has a lot more dialogue, which is fantastic. The Skywalkers are done, and he had a lot of fun filming Episode 9. But what are your thoughts? Which characters do you want Poe to have screen time with in Episode 9? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos.